Facebook family, so happy you're joining us today. Your smiling face, your beautiful face, I can see it through the camera, can't you?
I can.
I can see it.
Yeah,
I can literally see it. Brian's on the other side of the camera. You want to poke around real quick, Brian? Say hi.
Hey again.
Hey guys, real quick, this is a valuable one for you. It's one that's going to be interesting because Coach Travis and I are going to share our own personal storms that we've been through, because this month, our theme for the month is how to survive and thrive during the storms of life, at least for these couple weeks. And so we want to both share our personal stories of storms we've been through, and then a few lessons that I've learned from my storm that I want to impart with you guys, and I think Travis is going to do the same. If you guys don't know, a year ago this coming Thursday, it'll be 1 year since my dad passed away from a pretty nasty battle with cancer. 6 months he battled cancer, and for me, that was the biggest storm up to this point in my life that I've ever endured. But with any storm, with any setback, you guys know this, there's always an opportunity to learn some lessons. And so one lesson, I'm going to share one lesson, and then you can share a lesson, and then I'll share, then you share. We'll play a little ping pong match.
Sounds good.
One lesson that I've learned through the storm with my dad is do not wait. Do not wait to take that trip with your son or daughter, right? Don't wait to take that 3-day trip to the mountains or that trip to wherever it is that you guys would want to go. This is something that I talked about with my dad all the time. I was like, man, it'd be so cool to go on a father-son trip. So cool to do this. But we've got plenty of time, right? We got plenty of time to do it. We don't need to do it now. Put it off, put it off, put it off. I've learned not to put the most important things in life off, because you don't know when you're going to lose the opportunity. So do it now, right? Schedule that vacation, that trip with your son or daughter, and do them one-on-one. That's my other piece of advice, is like schedule them individually with your kids. And if you're a kid watching this, be the one that goes to your parent and says, Mom, Dad, I want to go on a trip with you. So that's my one lesson that I've learned. Don't wait to do the important things.
Yeah, and the one thing that I know, I've had a few different storms that's hit throughout my life. The one blessing, I had many blessings. A major blessing that I had is, as I went through it, my mom was there, right? My mom's my biggest superhero I've had. I don't know how she's done everything she's done, but growing up, she was a single mother, right? And my dad, he had his battles. He was using drugs. He was an alcoholic. And my mom still let me go see him, but she was really good about telling me the good things to pick up and what things to avoid. So throughout all of the battles that I faced, going to see him, my stepdad, the battles he had, she pointed out the good in the good situations, the bad in the bad, and it really helped me kind of pick up on the best of the male mentors that I had growing up, because they weren't the best role models, so I indirectly learned what habits I wanted to pick up. So the biggest blessing that I had throughout the storms is find the blessings in the dark situations, finding the light in the dark situations, and it was really guided by my mom, facilitated from my mom.
I like that. You got a pen, paper? You got to write down some notes. We're big note takers here. You got to write down some notes. Hey, second lesson that I've learned throughout this storm with my dad is not to sweat the small stuff. Looking back, there were so many little things frustrated me about my dad. He would get impatient sometimes. He would he would be like he always wanted to be really, really early to things, and sometimes it was to a fault. And like getting everybody like riled up about like gotta be there early. And for me, I look back and those little times when I was like frustrated with him, or maybe didn't respond in the best of ways. And it's like little things. We all are guilty of this, I think. Little things sometimes tick us off, as Travis says. Ticks people off, right? Little things tick us off sometimes that are little things. So being able to recognize what's a little thing, and also recognize when you're the problem. Little things that I sweated that my dad might have done were actually a reflection of my impatience, because I was overloaded and overwhelmed and busy, and so they had an even bigger effect on me. So recognize when it might be your problem, not the other person's problem, and then don't sweat the small stuff. Let it roll like the waves. Trina Gray, a friend of mine, said, let problems roll like waves. And so I think that I would tell myself that lesson back when my dad was going through his battle, and even before that, don't sweat the small stuff.
Yeah, and I'm going to roll right off of that. Forgive, right? Life's too short to be holding on to things. So the day before my graduation, I had a tough choice. I had limited graduation tickets, and I gave it to my dad, right? One thing led to another. He overslept. He didn't show up. And for about 2 months, I could not let that go. I resented him. I didn't talk to him. I didn't go see him. And then finally, I took a breath and I realized I had to let this go. And for the next year, we started building up our relationship. I went and saw him pretty regularly. I called him regularly. And then all of a sudden, one day, he got in a car accident. And just like that, he was gone. So for me, I look back, a huge blessing through it all was if I would have held on to that resentment and that negativity, I might not have ever had a chance to let it go. So one of the things, looking back and reflecting on the time I got to spend with him, I couldn't be more grateful for letting that roll and not holding on to that, right? Because if I would have held on to that, that would have been something that I would have really struggled with. So if you have animosity built up, you have resentment for somebody in the family over something that happened, you can't change what happened, but you can change how you move forward. Forgive and move on, because you don't know what can happen. So take action before it's too late.
I might be the only one on this one, I don't know, you tell me. I've been guilty of letting the fear of not sounding perfect or not sounding motivational keep me from saying things and encouraging my dad during his battle, saying things that I wish I would have said. And this can span across a whole different array of things. It doesn't just have to be fear of not sounding, fear of embarrassment or fear of sounding weird. I'm going to give you an example. One day I was sitting there with my dad. This was about 3 months before he had passed. And I really wanted to ask him the question, what are you afraid of? What are you most scared of? And what is one thing you wish you would have done in your life that you didn't do, that you want me to do? And for some reason, I paused and I hesitated and I didn't say that, I didn't ask him those questions. I don't know why, but there's other things that I wish I would have said to him too. Like, you know, I'm a coach here at PFB. I encourage people, I motivate them. I look people dead in the eyes and tell them how much I value them and believe in them. But sometimes with my family, I don't say those things that I wish I would have said. And I don't know why. Maybe it's because they've known me my whole life and they would look at me differently, or they don't think of me as a motivating coach. And so one of the lessons that I've learned is to say the things to the people in your life that you really need to say. Don't hold back. You don't know if you're going to get to say those things again. Fortunately, I did end up sharing things with my dad against my feelings of like, I don't know if I should say this. I don't know if he's going to receive it well. I don't know if he's going to be like, Bud, like, you're weird. I didn't know what to think. But within the 3 to 4 weeks before he passed, I did. I shared those things with him. So what do you need to share with the people in your life that you love the most? What encouragement do you need to give them? Words of encouragement, words of affirmation, maybe difficult questions that you want to ask them. You don't know how they're going to receive them, but there's questions that you have in your mind, in your heart, and you're not asking them for some reason, and it's probably more about you than it is about them. So resolve those, and don't let anything left unsaid, because again, we don't know when our time's going to pass.
Yeah, and the big thing is, like I said before, with the forgiveness with my dad, I can remember the last phone call I had with him, right? And if I would have known that was the last phone call I had, some things would have come off different. I would have said things that I did leave unsaid. So really take this homework tonight, get on that phone, okay? Make the phone call and let someone know what they mean to you, as if it was the last time, because you never know, right? One thing my mom had a practice of doing since I was a really young kid was we get off the phone, we always say, I love you. It's something simple, but that should be the parting words, because if it was the last time, well, I'm glad I got that out, okay? So take this seriously. Don't text it. Don't send an email. That'd be really bad. Make the phone call tonight to someone that you haven't reached out to in a while, or you just want to reach out and make sure they know how much they mean to you, because you don't know when it could go.
And guys, one final thought. If you're going through a storm right now and you've failed at some of these lessons already and it's too late, which it might be, I've got some people in my life right now, ones that I've talked to this week, that this is true for them. They've failed to take action on these lessons that Travis and I just shared with you, which is why we're doing it now. But if that's you, I want you to, number one, get that stuff out of your head. Regret and disappointment and shame and all those things, if you leave those things in your head, it will travel down to your heart. If it gets into your heart and then it pushes further down, you're going to keep that stuff locked up for a very long time, and it's going to it's going to diminish the quality of your life. Let's just put it that way. It's going to make you a more sad, depressed person than you ever need to be. You'll never become who you were created to become. So if this is you and you've left some things unsaid, you've failed to do the things with your loved one that you wish you would have done, whatever it is that you're holding on to, guys, get that stuff out of your head now. Talk with somebody, journal it, pray about it, give it up to God because he wants to hold that kind of stuff. Let it be like a hot air balloon, right? Or a balloon filled with helium. You know, it's not supposed to stay here. It's supposed to fly. Helium's supposed to rise, right? So let it rise like a balloon. And most importantly, thanks for watching this. You know, because this is not a common video for us to do here at PFP. It's about working out, getting swole, right?
Oh yeah,
Getting swole.
getting juicy.
But we are complete people. We're holistic people. Spiritual growth, personal development, this is part of our lives, not just physical. So make sure to watch this video again, guys. Take action on what you need to take action on, and come back next week.
Yeah, hopefully the Cowboys win when I see you next. I'm struggling right now.
Oh my goodness, guys.
Yeah, I'm
Oh my
struggling right now.
goodness.
I'm right in the ship.
Peace, guys. Have a great rest of your week.